So the original intention was to do this whole thing on camera, but this man has packed this thing in such a crazy way. This is probably going to take me at least 20 minutes to untangle. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit once I get this big badass piece out. All right, so not quite fully unboxed, but I wanted to kind of give you guys the final little rug peel, so to speak. That is just beautiful. All right, let's talk about it. All right, how you doing today, folks? Now, as always, I wanted to bring you something a little bit different. This is an absolutely massive hammer, which eclipses my torso. Crazy. Very large head. Head be gone. Now, this is made by Ryan J. Pitts. I will go ahead and have a link to his Instagram as well as his YouTube channel below. And he calls himself the Metal Master. Now, first off, when I heard him call himself the Metal Master, I was like, who is this pretentious fuck? After getting this in hand and seeing some of his work, I think that name is pretty well deserved because this completely exceeded my expectations as far as what this actually became. Now, this is supposed to be 35-pound gigantic warhammer, empty, but thanks to this little hatch right here, can be loaded up to 120 pounds. Now, 35 pounds would qualify as a fairly advanced level mace swinger. 120 pounds is the absolute best of the best. So I have a goal to get there, and God damn it, I'm going to find a way to achieve it, and this will help me. Now, this is the Volknot, which is tattooed on my body several times around my neck and the background. The symbol, that means a great deal to me. But let's talk about the hammer itself. First off, the handle is roughly 2 inches, and it feels amazing. Now, it has these grip rings, as you can see right here, but honestly, those are kind of just for aesthetics because this has like a natural texture to it. I'm not sure if it's the clear coat he puts on this stuff to protect the stainless steel, but like, it's like genuinely like tacky, which is really interesting. So these, while being very interesting, very kind of cool, is something that is unneeded because the actual grip itself is just absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm kind of a bigger guy in general. This is your traditional, like a 1.5 inch thick mace handle. This is a slightly thicker semi-custom variation that has a thicker handle, but not this thick. And then there's this. Now, why would you want a thicker handle? Technically speaking, it gives you stronger grip. It's more challenging. For me, though, it just feels better. My hands kind of eclipse these things. So when I'm actually swinging, I find my fingers wrapping around themselves, which is really just kind of strange feeling. It's definitely not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker. But if I want something custom, which you can pretty much make it into anything you want it to be, why not fix that little nitpick for these and make something that fits absolutely perfectly? To give you an idea, my thumbs can wrap around there, and I can get this really solid grip. Now, as far as the head is this absolutely beautiful, amazing, gorgeous piece that the more I look at it, the more I appreciate it. This looks good in pictures. It looks absolutely incredible in person. I love the contouring, how this kind of just tapers down. There's also not a hot spot on this thing that I can detect. Everything is rounded off perfectly. And that includes the actual Volknot itself, which, as you can see, is full of corners. And while swinging a heavier mace, you definitely don't want to hit those corners. I've been there myself with, for example, this little rogue hammer I have here, because it has these corners, and they're not very sharp. But I have that thing loaded up to be just over 40 pounds. I literally packed it full of like lead balls then put a mask on, took a torch and melted said lead balls and compressed them in to kind of maximize the amount of weight to put in that thing. And because it has that much weight, these little things on the Rogue have actually cut me before. These on the actual stronger grip Ryan J. Pitts Volknot hammer are literally perfect. I also want to take a moment to have you look at these welds that I have firsthand seen him do by hand that frankly look like a machine did this. Like, that's insane. That's on par with Rogue and Rep and all sorts of other companies, right, that use very high quality machine welders. Now, to replicate that with your own two hands is extraordinarily difficult. And this man killed it in one shot. Because if you can look at this, you really only have the one shot. Once it's welded on, this whole thing becomes garbage. So we had one chance to do this and absolutely killed it. And that extends to this absolutely beautiful, almost like floral flower pattern on the weld, which I don't know if that's on purpose or not. But Ryan is very much an artist, so I would not be at all surprised if it was on purpose. And that's awesome. Now, as far as the handle itself with this very nice pommel, it has enough retention to where your fingers aren't going to slide. But also, there's no hot spots. It's nice and smooth and rounded. Even this top piece right here is nice and smooth and rounded while still being flat. If you want to set it on the end for whatever reason. And this kind of like trapdoor thing right here also allows you to store it vertically with like really no wiggle. Like, look at that. It just stops. Super stationary, super stable, which I love. Now, I just swung 110 pounds a couple of days ago. I'm very, very sore. I'm not exactly sure how much this weighs, so I'm going to weigh this, get you guys some specs, put up some shots of me swinging it like this, and give you my overall impressions on the Ryan J. Pitts Presents Stronger Grip Volknot hammer. That's a mouthful. All right, so we are approximately almost 2 weeks, I think it's like 9 or 10 days, something like that, since I originally unboxed this. I have used it quite a bit, pushed myself to my absolute limit and beyond. Discovered some things about this that I love, some that are not quite ideal, but overall, I'm still very, very happy. As far as the actual weight, this is supposed to be 35 pounds and going up to 120. This is actually 39 pounds, which is on the heavier side for most type of hammer work. I'm pretty advanced in this type of stuff, so it's fine for me, but I do train people that I was trying to have a lighter hammer, so it being, 4 pounds overweight. Not great, but also not a huge deal. Also, if you're going about taking this thing out, which you put in a little Allen key right there, and then as you can see, it takes quite a bit of force to get started, even though it's already been loosened up prior to the video. There's something going on with these screws. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Ryan already told me that he would go about sending me some more screws because he definitely thinks there is an issue as well as I. So that's being fixed already, which is fantastic. This is also a recessed plate with recessed screws right there, which means it is on the more difficult side to get open, but for me, being able to store it vertically is definitely very ideal, and I love that. Nice, thick piece of polished steel with that very nice recessed piece on the inside. Now, using that, you can either use traditional, kind of like BBs or steel shot, or you can use what I do, which is lead shot. Now, lead shot gets a whole lot heavier, but it also has some inherent complications, most of which is that if you get less than premium lead shot, it'll break apart in the actual hammer itself or chamber while it's being swung. And then it can actually cause some issues. So if you do go in about getting lead shots before you actually open it and mess around with it like that, I would probably wear a respirator. It's only an issue if you do find like inferior like lead suppliers, but there definitely are some out there that sell some shady products. So it's not really worth it. And again, this gets up to 140 pounds. I have not swung at 140 pounds because I'm a human and I will die. My absolute max is 110 pounds, which I can do with a Great Lakes Gira fixed mace, or the Attitude adjustable axe with like 2 type of comp plates. I'm gonna put a screenshot of that right here in all of its early 2000s, kind of like 80s style B-movie freaking screenshot glory. But this at 110 pounds is tremendously more challenging. Now, I don't know if you can hear this on camera or not. So I'm going to turn this slowly next to the actual microphone, so you can hear all the actual pellets transitioning from one side to the other, right? Now, when you have this loaded up for any type of significant weight, right now this is a little over 60 pounds at the moment. Now, if you go about having this loaded up to 110 pounds, it fills up roughly about like right there, about like right there. And then whenever you're swinging it, it all stays on one side. And then as you swing it back, it all rapidly shifts to the other and gives you an extraordinarily unstable pattern. Ooh. Which is something that honestly is, it's fun. I'm looking forward to getting to the point where I can swing my actual maximum weight with this. But as it was, I did one where I was barely able to catch it. It was definitely not a finished rep. I lost control of it, had to slide my handle up to the actual tip to avoid it crashing to the ground in catastrophic fashion. And then the other one, I went to cast it on my left side this time, and it all shifted to one side, and it literally lifted me off my feet. I mean, I'm 6'8", 260 pounds at this point in time, so I'm currently doing a little bit of a bulk. And that just doesn't happen. It literally lifted me off my feet like a cartoon character. So it adds a great deal of challenge and intrigue to it, which I really, really like. Now, as far as the negatives, the rust on the kind of head has gotten a little bit worse. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a sander to it and go about getting the clear coat off, cleaning the rust off and reapplying said clear coat. It's not a huge deal. It'll be probably about a half hour's worth of work. But again, not ideal, and I have to call that out. Also, the screw is not ideal. Something's going on to where it's not threading properly. That's not great. And finally, being 4 pounds heavier is not good. But for me personally, I love this thing so much, I just don't care. Now, as far as Ryan J. Pitts presents as a whole, when I originally got this built, this is actually the version 3. The version 1 ended up being like 46 odd pounds or whatever. It was massively different what we actually agreed upon because he is an artist and kind of went down that whole artist hole where he just kind of dove down the rabbit hole, forgot the details you're supposed to actually iron out, and then kind of did his own thing. Now, he has kept that hammer. He then went about making another hammer, which ended up being way too heavy. And then he went about sending me this one, thinking it was 36 pounds, which would have been right around in line with my 35-pound requirement. But instead it's 39. So, you know, not ideal. Communication was not the best at first. After this next build, though, we communicated a great deal. I feel like me and Ryan have actually become genuine friends, which is awesome. And I highly recommend going about working with Ryan J. Pitts. Everybody can make mistakes, right? It doesn't necessarily matter where you currently are, it matters where you are currently going. And as soon as I addressed my concerns, he immediately fixed them. He tried much harder to communicate. He was much better at going about the whole custom process. And it created something that I absolutely love. And he has a customer and a buyer and a friend for life if he wants it, man. And like, I am overjoyed. I love this thing. I cannot wait to push this, you know, to its absolute limit. Will I get to 140 pounds? Just be like, hurrah! Probably not. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think I will be eventually able to swing this thing at 110 pounds, though, which is my absolute max. That's my goal anyways. I swung this thing at 90 pounds, and it still almost killed me. Like, the way the weight shifts makes such a big difference. The most I've ever swung this successfully is at 77 pounds. And even when I went to 80 pounds, again, it almost killed me. I didn't like fall over, but I wasn't able to actually control the weight anymore. So it adds just a much more, you know, kind of unique and dynamic force curve to it all. It makes it much harder, which I absolutely love. Fit and finish is fantastic. Small issues aside, man, I'm overall just absolutely overjoyed. And if you go about wanting to get one of these big, gigantic, beautiful hammers with the Volk knot in front or with any number of different things in front, I think you'll be very, very happy. This is absolutely amazing. Now, as far as the price, buying a Epic Extreme hammer, which roughly what this head is normally about $500 because this was so modified, and Ryan kind of went down a rabbit hole in regards to it. I only paid $500, which is that original price, but if you were to ask for this exact thing, you're looking at about $1,000. For about $1,000, is this worth it, in my humble opinion? Again, I absolutely love it. I am extraordinarily happy with it. I love it. Now, if the price goes up $1,500, is it worth it? Kind of. It's really pushing it. If ever it's $2K, is it worth it? Absolutely not. But for, $500, absolute steal. $1,000, good. $1,500, pushing it. More than that, stay away. One thing I do want to shout out, though, towards the very end of this video, is that Ryan actually offered me this for free. Now, it's not because I'm a YouTube creator or anything like that, none of that bullshit, right? He was so sad about all the different issues that we were having, the finished build. He's like, hey man, I do this for fun. It's not about the money for me. I love the process so much so that I will just go about giving you this free of charge. Now, I did not let him do that because if you are an artist, you should be paid for your work. This is a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort. But that just shows the man's character and how dedicated he is to the actual craft to really create something for you that's just beautiful and that you can be proud of. It's a very rare thing in life to find someone that's truly not interested in the money, but just wants to be a part of the art and the customer experience and everything else. And for that alone, man, you're an absolute legend. I'm very glad you just went about accepting the money, because if you did not, I was going to get this hammer in hand. I was going to pull your address off the return envelope, and then I was going to go about sending you cash and just telling you to deal with it. So just taking the money overall made that much easier. But yeah, man, Ryan is an absolute legend. Whew. Just worked out. This at 60 pounds right now is kind of kicking my ass. But Ryan is an absolute legend. I am super, super stoked. I love this thing, and I just worked out, and I really want to work out again. I look forward to training days so much because I love using this thing. As you can tell by the thumbnail and just my smile throughout this video, I love it. I'm super excited by it. It makes me happy. One thing I will say is that some of the polished pieces, especially right here, and on the exact same side right here, is uneven. So it kind of gives it a weird little aesthetic at all, but I don't care. One other thing I will say, when loaded with actual lead shot, again, it's very hard to hear on camera, I'm going to guess, but it's really loud, even just doing this, because this is kind of acting like one big echo chamber. But when you actually go about swinging it, it kind of sounds like you're just creating thunder around you. It is just super, super loud. It's kind of annoying. I've already got complaints from the neighbors, but whatever. I love it. I'm stoked. I'm happy. Small negatives aside, again, very, very happy. I'm also totally rambling right now. So as always, folks, I love you all. Please take care, and bye-bye.